So there's several phases that people might go through when they first get a flow rope. I'll share with you the phases that I personally went through when I first got my flow rope to like where I am today. So when I first got the rope, I had heard that there's benefits to doing it, and I started swinging it around, and I smacked myself in the head a lot, and I felt super uncoordinated. I totally couldn't do it, and I thought, this is stupid, and I threw the rope down and thought that those people who think it's amazing are crazy, and I didn't pick it up again for probably 2 months. And then I continue to hear that like, hey, there's benefits to doing this, and like it's really worth pursuing. You should try. And so phase 2 was I picked up the flow rope again, and I started practicing with more patience. And when I started practicing with more patience, I started learning how to float around. And from there, I had some aha moments, right? Where I started gaining some competency with some basic flow rope patterns that took me a while to learn. And as I started learning them and getting better at them, I realized like, oh, there's definitely some benefit here. And the benefit for me personally was a lot about opening myself up. Like I felt like there were big fascial chains that I was opening up. I'm opening up my chest. I'm changing my posture. I was improving my rotation. And that was just with the very basic swings that I was showing you, like just this underhand figure of 8 pattern. I moved it up to an overhead figure of 8 pattern, which I really liked because it felt like it was really opening up, you know, my rib cage and opening myself up like through the core. I really liked that. Once I got the dragon roll, I was like, oh, the rotation piece here felt like just really good and useful to me. So like that was phase 2, where I had some aha moments. In that stage, I was like, you guys, I became like the one who was like, you need to learn how to do this because like really there's benefits here. And then in that phase lasted for me probably 6 or 8 months. And then I decided like, what happens if I go further, right? Like I saw some videos of people who were doing more complicated swings. And so I went ahead and bought like a couple of online courses and trying to learn more. And from there, right, so like I learned some cool swings. I thought, like, ooh, like not only does it look cool, but it feels cool. And then you can learn and you start putting patterns together and you start becoming what we feel like is like pretty competent with the rope. And then I started gaining competence and confidence and feeling like, you know, this is really cool. And I continue to notice that like I'm moving better. With every swing, every new pattern that I learned, my brain learns more. I felt like my coordination was improving, my balance is improving, just my ability to move in different ways. And like as a 50-year-old, that felt very useful to me as far as like life in general. And so now I'm at the point where I've learned most, if not all, the patterns that I want to learn. There's like maybe 2 patterns that I'm still working on. Like my brain hasn't figured them out yet. So I continue to chip away at those. But for the most part, I'm competent and able to do most of the patterns that I want to do. So like, what does my practice look like now at this point? And so I'll share with you, I still flow the rope pretty much every day. And what I'm using it for is primarily what I find is that my daily habits and patterns and posture still has me pretty closed off and short in the front. And so I can use flow rope for 3 to 5 minutes a day, and it just functions to open me up. And so I use it as a break from work, or I use it as a warm up for before I go running or swimming or biking. And the routine that I'm currently doing looks a lot like this. So I start with this underhand figure of 8 pattern. And what I like about this is it's opening up my spine, bringing some rotation in. I'm shifting my weight. So I go right, left. I'm moving my head over foot, which is another pattern that I like. And then from here, I tend to break into a dragon roll. And what I love about the dragon roll is that you can see how much like my chest, like you have to open up in the front. And this open up part is just amazing. And then another one that I really like is this bowler. And again, because of the amount of mobility that it requires, that it opens up through my chest, my rib cage, my shoulders. I love that one. And then I do the underhand sneak is this one. And what I like about this one is this rotational piece that it reinforces, like, and you can notice and see how much my torso is rotating with this one. And I feel like when I do this for literally just a couple of minutes, what happens is my ability when I'm driving my car to turn around and look behind me is vastly improved. I feel like my back feels great, my shoulders feel great, my hips feel great. And so I share with you that progression because there may be a time where you started your flow rope journey and you thought, what's the point of this? Where am I going with it? Or like, why do I need to learn that swing or that pattern? And I just want to encourage you to keep going with it, because at some point you gain a competency that feels really good, where then just in 3 to 5 minutes a day, you can just have this practice. It takes you outside, you open yourself up, you wake up your brain in a really positive way, and it enhances whatever you're trying to do, however you're trying to move in your life. If you're skiing, if you're surfing, if you're playing golf, if you're playing tennis, if you're swimming, biking, running, chasing your kids around, inline skating, whatever it is you're doing, your ability to do it will be improved, because it literally just helps you improve the way you move. So if you have a flow rope and you started it, but then you put it away, get it back out and keep learning. Just relax, breathe, have patience with yourself, learn the patterns. It is worth it to come out the other end having all those patterns in your brain.